Hi there, I'm Uncle Joel with Pen and Reel. So I was recently thinking about Disney's acquisition of Fox and how this will play out in the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. One of the conundrums is the absence of mutants thus far. How can they introduce the X-Men without having mutants a known quantity in the recent past? On a small scale, they could get away with it. Logan acting as a lone wolf while trying to stay under the radar, Apocalypse being relegated to myth and folklore, Xavier psychically hiding a small contingent. But as a whole, for a world of mutants, I don't see a way for them to do this that wouldn't feel like a cheap retcon. Another option I have heard being thrown about is the multiverse. Somehow bringing mutants in from another universe, that they were never a part of the main MCU, but they were part of their own reality, and they are now being brought in to the MCU from some circumstance somehow. I really don't care for this option either, as it strips a lot from the stories. We would lose characters, histories intertwined with the larger Marvel world, the X gene is an ongoing source of conflict as new mutants couldn't appear, and a lot more. So, what would work for me? How could they introduce mutants into the MCU, after dozens of movies not mentioning them, and somehow do it in a way that feels authentic? Well, I have an idea about that, and it involves Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is where I hear most people talking about a potential introduction of mutants, but that has more to do with the multiverse aspect than anything. What I feel is generally overlooked is exactly what would make me accept the integration of mutants into the MCU, including their full history and everything. Scarlet Witch. As the Sorcerer Supreme, Doctor Strange will likely be called in to help with Wanda, possibly as a source of mystical power to get her under control, or as a mentor figure to help her get herself under control. I personally prefer the latter option. Stephen Strange teaches Wanda how to control her powers, working with her to secure her fractured mind. So in the next Doctor Strange movie, Wanda travels with Stephen, as she is not safe to be on her own. Together, they face whatever threat the movie provides, all while Stephen Strange watches her so that she doesn't lose control. After the threat is defeated, Stephen and Wanda retire to the Sanctum Sanctorum. Here, they meditate together, and Wanda allows Stephen to enter her mind, to help her heal and mend the fractured elements. As he does so, he starts encountering a barrier, a powerful spell that is blocking part of her mind from being accessed, and he can't figure out how to get around it or even break through. So instead, he tries to identify the spell. As he does, he asks Wanda, "What does this mean? What is..." And then his eyes snap open, and he says, "No more mutants." Cut to black. I think this would be a brilliant way of introducing mutants into the Marvel Universe, as well as presenting a problem to be addressed in future movies. This spell locked in Scarlet Witch's mind, this seemingly simple "no more mutants" spell, is locking away memories and adding to her scattered thoughts and fragmented personality. There is something behind this spell, but no one knows what it is. So the trick becomes how to undo the spell in order to see her mind whole, unaware of the consequences of bringing mutants back into the MCU after being hidden for so long due to Wanda's world-shattering spell. This will certainly have a retcon effect, as we find out that the MCU movies we have seen so far have been in the No More Mutants world. Then, with the spell reversed, we learn that there were elements missing from the past, such as Namor and the Invaders as part of World War II, if they are allowed to use them, or Magneto's presence in the world after the Holocaust. While retcons can be difficult, doing it right can only serve to add to the world. I feel doing it this way would allow for a great deal of storytelling potential. Consider this. Undoing the spell doesn't fix everyone's memories, so we have the same world, only suddenly there are a ton of mutants in it, with only some people remembering them. It could be like the aftermath of everyone returning from the snap, only worse, as it now involves unknown powered individuals and xenophobia. We could have characters whose memories don't line up with one another, creating significant sources of conflict. And suddenly people all over the world are finding their X genes activating, and no one knows what it is or what is causing it. One of the strengths of doing it this way is that they can get meta with it. They can treat it like we were a part of the spell, that the past 10 years of Marvel movies did not showcase mutants because we also had our memories and perception of them wiped from existence. Now that the spell is undone and mutants are returning, we get to discover what was hidden from us alongside the characters in the MCU. But what do you think? Do you have an idea for a better way to introduce mutants to the MCU? Is their past in this world important to you, or do you think bringing them in from another universe could reinforce their status as outsiders? Is there another way to introduce the X gene that you would find satisfying? Could the X gene be genetically created like it was in the Ultimate universe? I'm not too fond of that, but I might be willing to accept it in order to maintain continuity. But let's discuss it. Let me know down in the comments. I'm curious to hear what you think. And until next time, this is Uncle Joel saying, stay tangible.